So Katt Williams got a lot of issues with America's current darling, Tiffany Haddish. And I find this one to be very interesting because they both come from the comedy world. So we're going to talk about that, but we're going to also talk about a couple of things too, which pretty much involves this interview that Katt Williams gave at Atlanta's V103 radio station. Let's talk about it, shall we? Hey everybody, it's your girl Miss Little Cole, and I'm coming to you straight out of NYC. And today is a very beautiful day outside in Harlem, and I'm coming to you to basically talk to you about this whole Katt Williams interview that he gave a couple of days ago. I just heard it, and I got a lot to talk about it, so I'm basically going to give a synopsis. So basically, for those of you who don't know, Katt Williams is still doing comedy, and he's kind of bounced back from that little lull that he was going through in I would say the mid 2010s, because it was very bad for him with the whole debacle with his alleged drug use, his many arrests, and a lot of people pretty much wrote him off. And I'm going to be honest and fair about it, because I did follow like the whole thing with Katt Williams. Katt Williams honestly paved the way for Kevin Hart. You could say that you don't like the man, because I have my criticism with him too, but Katt Williams paved the way for Kevin Hart, because Kevin Hart was around for years, but nobody was paying attention to him because all the focus was on Katt Williams. But Katt Williams said one thing, and that one thing basically caused another person to jump in the whole debacle and basically shut him down. So first I'm going to talk about the whole interview he gave at V103, because it's very deep, and I'm going to go back to what I first originally said. So basically, Katt Williams, he blasted Tiffany Haddish during the interview, and he questioned her success. He also basically talked about Monique, and I'm going to talk about that now because I think that's very important, because that's something that nobody's saying. So basically he said, I got to deal with Netflix. Netflix gave me $2 million, and the radio host, Wanda, was like, really? Like in the wake of the whole Monique situation, they gave you $2 million. He said, basically, this is what it is. Netflix doesn't go based on your resume, so to speak. They basically rate how many tickets you sold on your last comedy tour. He said Monique only sold 3,000 plus comedy tickets for her last tour. He said, I sold 2.5 million. So that's how I was offered the $2 million. He said it wasn't a racial issue. It was just that I sold more. He said, but this is the thing. Netflix doesn't contact anybody for a comedy special. You go to them and they make the final decision. He said, so I didn't have an issue with Netflix. He said, Netflix, they cut the check, they paid me good. So I'm going to say this first. When Katt Williams I noticed he was very silent about the whole Monique situation. But the way he did say it, I still have my issues with how Monique was treated. I do believe that there's still racism going on in Netflix. But Katt Williams just broke it down in a simple mathematical way. Like, listen, it wasn't racist from what I'm seeing because of my experience with them. They gave me $2 million. And his name was never mentioned in that situation. So what I think it was with Monique was the fact that you only offering me $500,000, but Chris and Chappelle, they got offered $20 million. So it's probably, I still think it was racist. But anyway, moving along, the crux of the story is about Tiffany Haddish. So this is what he had to say about Tiffany Haddish. First of all, I want to say that Katt Williams is now an Emmy Award winner. He won his Emmy for portraying a character on the show Atlanta. I don't watch Atlanta, so I can't say it, but he played a character on the show Atlanta. So it says the Emmy winner blasted Tiffany Haddish and other comedians in an interview in the Frank and Wanda Morning Show on Atlanta's V103 alongside fellow comedian Red Grant on Friday. During the chat, Williams gave a short breakdown on the Netflix deals, which pivoted into a larger conversation on why certain black comedians like Haddish and Kevin Hart are more successful than others. According to Williams, who has filmed close to a dozen hit comedy specials, Netflix offered deals to comedians based off ticket sales. If people understand that, it's not personal. They can just take their ass to work and get their numbers up, he said. Williams went on to claim that successful black comedians are typically unattractive, using Hart, Jared, Mike Carmichael, and Little Rel as examples. They're going to let you do your special, Jared Carmichael, but nobody's going to watch it. I do agree with that on a side note. They're going to let you be a star, Little Rel, but you ugly. And white people don't believe in ugly stars. They think you have to be somebody that women want to sleep with and men want to be. Ooh. But because we black, they say you don't even deserve that. So you get Kevin Hart, Little Rel, Jared Carmichael, Hannibal Buress, dudes that no women would talk to in Lenox Mall, said Williams. You're making them movie stars. Why? Because you know ain't nobody gonna sleep with them. Now this is what he talks about Tiffany Haddish. You only got Tiffany Haddish, he continued. She's been doing comedy since she was 16. You can't tell me your favorite Tiffany Haddish joke. Why? Because she ain't done a tour yet. He also said Haddish has improved the ability to tell jokes back to back for at least an hour. And they ready to down Monique and up somebody who showed them Girl Trip. Did you think she wrote Girl Trip goofball, or do you think that it was already a script that they handed to her? When the radio host Wanda Smith attempted to defend Haddish, Katt Williams, he basically snapped back and he said that he first read the Girl Trip script in 2004 and that role anybody could have played. He said, I love her, but she beat out 46 black female comedians that he personally took on tour and who have a hard time getting a chicken sandwich at Chick-fil-A after they headlined 7 shows at a club for 25 hours a week. Damn, they couldn't even get a Chick-fil-A sandwich? Yo, I don't know. They must have either student loans or bills, car note bills, house bills, student loans, and 7 kids. Because there's no way you can't afford a Chick-fil-A sandwich off of $25K a week. I mean, $2,500 a week. I'm sorry. He says, but people like real. They like Tiffany Haddish because she's real. That's what Wanda Smith said. But here's is what he said. And this was funny. He said, is that what they like? Because everybody's real then. Do you have a real coworker? Do you have a ratchet friend? Do you have a sister, a cousin, a nephew, a niece? Is they so ghetto? When did that become marketable? Knock it off. They like Haddish because she wants to sleep with white men. Williams said, referencing Haddish's crush on Brad Pitt. So basically, Haddish did respond, and she said on Twitter, it's official, I made it. And she hashtag, she responded to Katt Williams, and she said, Katt Pack all day talked about me and didn't have his facts right. I win. She ready. Haddish tweeted, I look forward to seeing you on Monday, Katt, when we pick up our Emmys. I just want to shower you with real love because you need it, and I love you. So now I'm going to say this. Tiffany Haddish has won her very first Emmy for guest starring on SNL as a host. That is a historical win because she is the first black female comedian, to ever host SNL, which is a show that's based on comedy. So that's a big win for her. And I did report that story on my channel. It's one of the first that I did. I believe it was the third one. No, it was the fourth one. And I will say that she did do her thing. There was a couple of jokes that weren't really that funny, but what they handed to her, she made it work. Having said that, I'm going to go into Katt Williams' history. Katt Williams is a controversial figure, and I myself had issues with Katt Williams. Do I think he's very funny? Absolutely. Is he a damn good comedian? You bet your ass he is. Is he witty? He is very, very witty. Now, is he multifaceted? No. And that's why Katt Williams didn't go into the crossover realm like how he could have. If he would have been versatile in, voice impressions, he would have made it far. But do I believe he's better than Kevin Hart? Absolutely. But Kevin Hart is family friendly. He's never been raunchy. And Katt Williams, Jared Carmichael, they and Hannibal Buress. I'm not familiar with Little Rel, but they come out of white comedy. White people backed them and supported them. They don't come from the urban comedy route. Whereas Katt Williams, he comes from urban comedy. Monique comes from urban comedy. Now, Tiffany Haddish, I can't say she comes from urban comedy. I don't know. She has hosted the Laugh Factory. She does have a lot of white benefactors, and she does claim her Jewish heritage. So my guess is that more than likely she has white benefactors, which is why she's been able to blow up. Now, Katt Williams did make a lot of valid points. He did say that, name you one Tiffany Haddish joke that you can remember. I don't know a Tiffany Haddish joke. All I know is that she says she's ready and she sticks out the tongue. She's been wearing that white dress so many damn times and it's getting on my damn nerves. But reason why she is famous is Katt is right. Will Packer made Tiffany Haddish to spite Monique after Monique made this Christmas. Not this Christmas, almost Christmas. And they did that to spite Monique because Monique and him wasn't getting along and he did Monique dirty. And that trailer, she could have died. Had that trailer blown up while she was inside of it, she could have died. And I'm not saying that he did it, but it's a little bit suspicious about that whole incident too. But when Girl Trip came out, he basically made Tiffany Haddish big. And he also made, believe it or not, Katt Williams blow up because he was the one that basically directed the movie Act Like a Woman, Think Like a Man. So all of these whole, connection with Will Packer, with Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish is very interesting. And I do believe that she's blown up because she's eager to sleep with white men. And these white men don't want her. Now, what I thought was funny when he said, she jumped over 46 black women to play in Girl Trip. Anybody could do that role. I think it's true. But when he said that, I thought of when Tiffany Haddish jumped over the rope on the Oscars red carpet to meet Meryl Streep. And she had on her Eritrean princess dress. And it told me a lot about her because Meryl Streep was kind of paying her dust. And you're wearing a dress of a culture that has never been, imperialized and colonized by Europeans. And how dare you wear that dress to basically run and meet a white woman who wouldn't give a damn about you if you were just walking down the street. And I was like, and that's when I was done with her. I was done with Tiffany Haddish. And all this thing about I'm eager to sleep with Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt don't want you just because he had sex with Robin Givens. That was just Robin Givens. He was on the come up. Okay? And that's a whole nother story about that one. But you making yourself thirsty and you making an ass out of yourself. But these people are willing to make you famous to basically spite Monique. And he did mention that to a point, and I will give Katt Williams a lot of credit for that. I will give him credit for that. I will give him credit for being critical of Kevin Hart, because I have issues with Kevin Hart too. Now, this is where I'm going to be critical of Katt Williams. See, what a lot of people don't want to be reminded of is that Katt Williams sabotaged his own career when he made that accusation that Michael Jackson was a child molester and that he raped those kids. That was a no-no because it was proven that Michael Jackson was not a child molester. It has been proven. This goes way back to the 90s. And a lot of people don't know this story, but Michael Jackson was actually commissioned to basically bust the pedophile ring. I'll talk about that on another episode of my show, but that's a whole story because I looked that up and I was shocked to even find that out. And that's why Hollywood basically labeled him a child molester, because he was basically busting a child pedophile ring. Now, I'm going to go into a couple of more deets. When Katt Williams said that, I saw that special on HBO. I saw it when it first aired. A lot of people was looking puzzled. A lot of people didn't know what to say because it's like, wait a minute, Katt, you got off cold when you did that shit. And after that, I wasn't comfortable. And my niece was like, I don't like this man. I will never like this man again. Now, there was one comedian who saw that and got mad. And that person, believe it or not, is Steve Harvey. And this is going to come to this whole connection with Will Packer, Kevin Hart, Steve Harvey, and even Tiffany Haddish. Because it was Steve Harvey that championed for Katt Williams to be blacklisted, because Steve Harvey was a friend of Michael Jackson. Because Michael Jackson always said, my favorite comedian is Steve Harvey, because he's very family friendly. He's very funny without being insulting. And they hung out. They were really good friends. And I'm critical of Steve Harvey too. But I could say their friendship was really genuine. They were friends. Basically, they were the same age, you know. It's just that they had different experiences. But especially after Michael died, he went even harder, because those accusations and those lies helped to kill that man, okay? It helped to make him sick. And Steve Harvey took it personal and was like, no, you're not going to come into this game and slander an icon. And I will say this, I never agreed with Steve Harvey, but that one thing I said I got to agree with you on. I had to agree with him on that, because that's the truth. You don't come into the game slandering an icon. You don't. And remember that tour that they had, that whole the whole, like, the versus Katt Williams and Steve Harvey. People say Katt Williams won. Some people say Steve Harvey won. But I will say this. I say it don't matter who won, because at the end, Katt Williams destroyed his career at that moment because of people not wanting to deal with people. It was basically karma, in my opinion. I felt that it was karmatic at the point. And I also felt that his downward spiral, and then he was talking about the Illuminati, and he was doing all these weird things. And I would say from like 2000, and from what I know, 2011 to like 2016, it was for like a good 5 years. It was rough, which is why I'm very interested to know, why did they give you an Emmy? Like, what is it? Because I noticed, like, with Dave Chappelle, when Dave Chappelle was coming back, they was giving him Emmys. They was giving him all this stuff. And to me, I feel like Katt Williams wants to be at the top of the game. And all this Illuminati conspiracy theory stuff he was talking about, it's like, oh yeah, I was talking about it, but now I want to be where these people are. So he could be telling the truth, but he could also have a disdain for the fact that these people became famous and they're at the top of their game, not because they're so much talented, but because they didn't step on people's toes, and they basically didn't make any enemies, and they was careful of what they said. And Katt Williams didn't do that. He basically standardized an icon. And so, to me, who would I agree with? I would say there were some valid points he did make about Tiffany Haddish, but I would never agree with him, because I never got over what he said about Michael Jackson. And I'm not such like a big Michael fan, but looking at it from a legal standpoint, you lied on that man on that stage. And for me, I could never forgive him for that. I never could. I never could forgive him for that. Never could. So, I just thought it was interesting to see comedians beef, because there's always rappers, but comedians could beef too. And basically, on that note, this is your girl, Miss Analytical, signing off. Make sure you follow me on Spreaker.com. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell and share this video to everybody, friends and family, even the people that you know that they don't like you. Because basically, you never know. Maybe it could change a person's opinion or view on this topic. Thank you for supporting me. My channel is growing. I appreciate all the new subscribers. Welcome to my channel. And with that being said, take care. Have a wonderful day. And if you're in NYC area, especially Harlem, stop by to the Harlem Day Parade, which is currently happening now. Take care.